Hey, everybody. How are you doing? Hopefully you're watching from Facebook. You're watching from YouTube. You can send Facebook stars if you want, even if the broadcast is over. You're like, I want to support Devin and his comedy. Stars. There you go. It is Sunday night. I'm a little late, but I was over at my mom's house and celebrating Mother's Day. Hopefully you are celebrating Mother's Day as well. Or there's still time. If you need to give that call, Walgreens open 24 hours a day. Go grab that gift card. Do what you need to do. To all the moms out there, hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Alex, Debbie, Liam, everybody watching online, Michael, Nathaniel, Cheryl. Hopefully you guys and gals are all doing well and had a wonderful Mother's Day. I am personally absolutely tanked, exhausted. I went on a flight this morning, flew out at 6 o'clock in the morning, had 2 shows the night before, and ended up back in Orlando. Lots of driving, lots of traveling. I'm wearing a Day of the Dead t-shirt for a reason, because I look like it. So anyways, thank you all for hanging out. Hey, Tristan, how's everybody doing? Hi, Queen. Hi, Chris. Hi, Mike. Yeah, it was a good day. If you were a mom, hopefully you got showered with love and affection. If you're not a mom, hopefully you celebrated your mom. If your mom's no longer with us, hopefully that memory lived on in a positive light and you were able to reflect. I know, my buddy Greg, who hosts the podcast with me, his mom passed away a while back, and he posted a picture of him and his mom, and, is reflecting in positive light and kind of honoring her memory. And so hopefully it was a good day for you. And shout out to my mom. My mom is a elementary school teacher, and she's been an elementary school teacher for a while. She became one after me. I warned her. Somehow she still decided that, I didn't know anything. And now she's learned her lesson. Now she's telling me, she's like, hey, did you know this? I'm like, yes, it is. I'm aware it's bad. I told you this in 2007 when you decide not to listen to me and become a teacher. So anyways, hi, Gretchen. How's everybody doing? Oh no, 12 and 13-year-old sons have coronavirus. Not good. So Mother's Day, you get 2 free weeks locked down with cranky kids. Oh, well, that's not good. Sorry about that, Michelle. Hopefully the rest of you are having a better day than Michelle. I went to Richmond, Virginia. I saw a lot of fans. Shout out to everybody. Candy was out. Alan was out. I'm just saying some names of people that I met along the way. And they were fantastic people that came out, supported the show, had a laugh. Sandman Comedy Club in Richmond. Fantastic time there. Thank you, Daniel, for the stars. Am I frozen? I'm frozen. Hold on. Let me get back on track here. It says I'm frozen on Facebook's, on the Books of Faces. Let me see. Out. It now. It better. I'm just kidding. Keep saying video paused and then it stops. Sorry about that. Well, is it, how's it on YouTube? Is the YouTube streaming well? Sorry about this. It's probably because I'm the only person. Facebook's screwed. Thanks, Christy. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry if you're on Facebook. Is it better on YouTube? YouTube people, are you guys enjoying it? Okay. It's good on YouTube if you want to check it out there. Sorry. So sorry, folks. If it's I posted it on there. It's good on YouTube. You want to check it out there. That's what I just posted. So hopefully people from Facebook will come over to the tubes of you and we can talk. So I'm just going to keep going because I don't know. I'm not a tech person. I don't have a tech. I didn't put in a ticket. I don't have, tech support here. I could get on the phone. Let me call up. Hi. Yes. Can you come by my room? Yeah. The internet's down. Right. Okay. 4 to 7 weeks. That's great. School's out in 3 weeks. So, what, maybe not now would be a good, can you come by now? No. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. You're handling the audio visual for chorus. That's fun. Okay. Thank you. All right. Appreciate it. Anyways, that's how it works. Glad YouTube's fine. Anyways, it's been an eventful day. I will say this. I want to say this because I want to say something positive. I've decided war is not a terribly bad thing in relation to one particular item. These chicken sandwich wars are the best thing to ever happen to America. Can I just say that? I mean, too long I was falling under the Chick-fil-A spell of it's delicious, it's good. Chick-fil-A is the pinnacle, and then Popeyes just kicked down the door and we're like, we're here and we're not playing games. And they were delicious. And then KFC was like, you know what? We can re-up our chicken game. Today, I indulged in the new Zaxby's chicken sandwich game, A plus from Zaxby's. Even McDonald's kind of throwing it into the ring. And I've had their new chicken sandwich. It's okay. It's not bad. The chicken sandwich wars are the greatest thing to ever happen to the fast food market because chicken sandwiches were going downhill. For a long time, I thought Wendy's was the king of the chicken sandwich. It was delicious. It was a really good sandwich. And then the rest of them kind of fell along the wayside. Then Chick-fil-A. I was really proud of Chick-fil-A. Delicious. Chick-fil-A is not way better than Popeyes. Fremont, you are blocked. I have blocked you. Block. And Popeyes has the best chicken sandwich out there. Still, bar none, the best one. Zaxby's was a close second. KFC trying to step it up. I had it the other day. Pretty good. McDonald's still down there. I don't get how you can be the king of fast food and just not have product development that isn't on par. I don't know. But yeah. Okay. So the May Teacher Zoom comedy show, just so you're aware, is going to be on May 21st. It was supposed to be this past weekend, but it ended up that we weren't able to do it because I had two of the comics that were busy. Then I got booked in Virginia. So it's May 21st. And I'm going to post the link to that tomorrow so that you can do that. Yeah, it's Chick-fil-A, you know, and that's the thing. It's Chick-fil-A has all the bad background of supporting different groups that kind of go against things that my students represent. And so I kind of stepped back from them. And I'm glad that Popeyes had a nice, warm, extra delicious, crunchy pillow to catch me on as I fell down. And so, yeah, sorry about YouTube's good. Sorry, Facebook. I don't know. It's not me. I don't think I'm the only person that's building on my internet. So anyways, yeah, I just want to say thank you all for supporting. New t-shirts, by the way, are online. I do not have any XXL. I'm trying to order more. That sold out quick. I still have a few XL and a few large. They're really cool retro 80s tees. So if you're like into the 80s vibe, like the Weekend style music and this whole retro throwback, devoncomedy.com, click on merch. You're going to want it. It's a really awesome t-shirt. We sold quite a few of them this weekend and I only have a little bit left. So you might want to grab one of those. Yeah. I don't get into the politics of chicken, Chris. Chris is saying we get into the politics of chicken. No, I try to steer clear of the politics of the chicken. I get it, and your hand on the face kind of represents the comment. I just know that a lot of people are upset with the things Chick-fil-A supports, and I again I try to not tie my food to my politics. I try to just eat what I like. But you know, if people are telling me it's bad, and I'm reading things that aren't good, and I can give my money to somewhere else, I'll support somebody else. Why not? But I'm not out front with a sign, you know, picketing a place or anything like that. And I'll eat it every once in a while, you know, but, anyways, yeah. So, I'm out of the 2XL, Jennifer, sorry. I'm working on it. I'm working on 2X and 3X. Maybe I don't know about that. When will I be on Long Island? Donna, you're such good timing. I actually was just talking yesterday about doing a Long Island show. Very shortly. That actually is coming up. So Long Island is more than likely going to happen. I'm enjoying that. This past weekend, I had a good time. As you guys saw the food I posted, the food in Richmond was outstanding. The entertainment in Richmond was outstanding. The history in Richmond, it was a very pretty town. Got to walk around the Capitol building. Went to a place that I don't know if you've heard of. It was amazing. It was called Hotel Green. I'm going to post some videos of it a little bit later, but Hotel Green was a 1940s/50s hotel that was converted into a putt-putt golf course. And like when you get there, they were wearing jackets and checked you in and gave you like a tag for your luggage. But it was a scorecard, and you had food and drinks, and it was all unlimited inclusive. And you got to go through this old hotel, and you're like putting underneath of the beds and in the shower and going down the hallways. It was the coolest thing ever. It was the neatest concept. I'd never heard of it before, and we found it on Google. I loved it. I loved everything about it. The whole time I was like, this is awesome. Like, somebody put a lot of work into this, a lot of effort, and it was just such an artistic visual creation that I was so happy to be a part of. And if you ever get a chance to go there, you need to absolutely do that. Sorry, there's standardized testing going on. I've been doing a lot of Zoom shows for teachers. If you haven't participated in that, you might want to get in on that. It'll definitely help you laugh a little bit towards the end of the year. teacherzoomshow@gmail.com. Had fantastic time with different faculties this past week. Everything from unions to retirements to colleges to elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, entire districts, people putting it up on the auditorium projection screen, and people zooming in on their own. It's been a blast, and districts have had a lot of fun with that, and I have had a blast myself. But you definitely got to check out the the really cool the really cool putt. I'm going to post some videos of it. I'm not in a school building right now. The fire alarm by my head is not. This is a 1912 old building that was I don't know what it was used for originally, but it is very old. I mean, very old. It is creepy cool. I'm the only one in this building right now except for the ghosts, and it's pretty insane how it works out. But I love it in my little building. I got a pretty good view. It's looked like a 1916 detective agency that I live here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, by the way, I was listening to my old timey radio. I always like to share my old timey radio stories with you all. I was listening to Suspense, and I was on the plane, and it was so funny because this was like it had to be 1940s because they were talking about the beginning of the war. The war wasn't over yet, and it was a couple, and they were talking. They're like, "Oh dear, our daughter is sick." And they're like, "What shall we do?" And they're like, "Well, why don't we give her a little bit of rum, Diane?" And they're like, "Oh, yes, I already gave her a little bit of rum. We'll give her a little bit more. She's been sneezing quite a bit lately." And they're like talking about their 7-year-old child and how much rum to give them. And I'm like, that's fun. That is fun. Yeah, that's thanks, Chris. It's definitely haunted here. Definitely haunted. But you can call me a gumshoe, Doris. That's fine. I'm totally cool with gumshoe. It's but yeah, I always listen to old timey radio. This one was kind of a baffling episode. I want to start a podcast and talk about them. I don't know if you will be interested in it, but some of those are so good. Like the stories are fantastic. I will say this though, the 1940s, 30s, 50s old radios did not always have the happy ending. Like this one was about a guy and his wife, and he thought the wife was cheating on him. So he poisoned her and himself, and they had drinks and poisoned her and himself and gave him more poison than her. So he would die first, and he died first. She ran into town to try to save herself. And turns out he didn't give himself the poison. He faked her out. And anyways, the guy that he thought she was cheating on with, he had hidden in the cupboard and was tied up. So he pulled him out, and he was like, "I didn't have the poison. Just so you know, she's running into town right now, and she's going to get there just in time to tell them that I died, and your body's going to be here because I'm going to burn the house down, and they're going to think that you're me, and then I'm going to go live my life, and then you'll be gone, and she'll be gone, and everything else." And turns out that she had switched the drinks because she didn't like alcohol too much. And spoiler alert, sorry if you hadn't seen that one. I know that it came out in 1942. I was just hoping that you'd actually heard it already. But it was really fantastic story. And some of these stories, I'm like, man, they're so creative. Like and the radio is just brilliant. I mean, brilliant. But yeah, it's insane. But they talk about all the history behind everything and the scandals. I listen to all that stuff. It's great. And I will say this too. children were terrified. They had to be terrified. These family things, these screams. Do you realize there's nothing more terrifying than a 1940s scream? I don't know what women like thought of to channel that back then. But when a woman screams in a 1940s radio show, it's deafening and terrifying. And I'm like, I mean, it's nothing like you see on TV. It's this full on psycho scream. And it's crazy. I love listening to all that stuff. Yeah, you can get so Doris, I download them off podcasts. I Google Play podcasts. It's free. There's old time classic radio stuff over the place. It's really awesome. Powerline Brother John Rivers. I don't remember that, but I'll have to look into that. I listen to all the stuff. I think it's great. It really takes you out of the moment too. I don't know why, but I just like listening to the old timey stuff. And then plus it's a much simpler life. They sing songs and everything's so positive, except for when, husbands are murdering their wives. But it's just, it feels better. It's a better time, better place, less worries, no stress. They're not on Facebook watching it freeze up like you are. So no, I don't like hearing women scream, Queen. Sorry. It's not that. I'm just saying it's terrifying. I've never heard screams like 1940 screams. They're terrifying. Really like sends chills up your spine. These Doris Day knew how to do it. It's crazy. So anyways, yeah, nice to meet you all. Angry Texan. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day, to your mom as well. Greg, I talked about that a little bit earlier. Middle school ELA teacher. Hello from Oklahoma. Hello, Tiffany. 26 years, taught the first 8 in public schools. Never do that again. You know what, though? I have a question, and maybe there's some people out here that can answer this. Those of you that teach in private schools, like when I went to go start teaching, I didn't know where I wanted to teach. And I went around and was applying to different schools. And there weren't a lot of openings. So I did go to a private school. And the private school, it paid less. It didn't have the benefits. They were like, yeah, no state retirement, and the health insurance was a little bit lower. It just seemed to me like private schools weren't the better option in terms of pay and benefits. I mean, you might get smaller classes. You might have a little bit more leeway for here, this, that. Obviously, you're not bound by certain testing things and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if you teach private school. I'd like to know, I mean, maybe some like elite schools probably pay really well, but it seemed that generally where I went in to inquire was not up to par with public schools. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Any tips for a graduating senior? I don't know. What graduating high school? What are you going into? I'll say this: don't choose your major yet. Take a year of just basic classes. Feel it out, see what you want. It's a tough job to kind of choose what you want to do for the rest of your life right out of high school. Never understood that. Never understood why we tell 18-year-olds that they all of a sudden got to go 60 grand in debt and decide the rest of their life for a career they've never stepped foot in. Doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, the retirement thing I think was pretty serious, that they didn't have any retirement benefits at all, and it was your own, so you contribute to your own retirement, which, I mean, maybe you get a little bit more freedom that way. I know that my Florida retirement system is not necessarily the best. Not like I had a choice. I went into Florida schools thinking I wouldn't have to contribute to the retirement, then they just took 3% of my paycheck anyways. Interesting. I'll watch that, Gretchen. I'll check that out. Yeah, you don't need to you don't have to declare a major right away. Wait and talk to professors, talk to, people, kids and students. Look up, Glassdoor, see what other people are saying about the careers, what the options are for the future. Who knows? I mean, it's such a hard thing though to figure out, because who would have thought? I mean, a kid going to school 2 years ago, who would have known that the number one career in 2021 would be Dogecoin investor? Who would have known? That's not on Glassdoor. So maybe take some time on that. I have backup trade schools are good. If I got some friends that are welders, make a lot of money. Depends on what you want to do though. I mean, it's sometimes you don't need to, if you want a career that's even higher up, instead of, working in the trade school, maybe you want to own a business that's in the trade or something. I don't know. I taught government economics, psychology, U.S. history, world history, psychology 2, civics, American history, different from U.S. history, just because it's 7th grade versus 11th grade. Taught geography, taught every single social studies subject under the sun. And it always made sense that, every single year they would give me a different thing to teach. That's great. My kids would pass the exams, do really well. Hey, let's put them in something else. That's, that makes sense. No, I don't know. Oh man. So yeah, it's interesting. Professional photographer. Yeah, get those side hustles. It's a good side hustle for teachers as a photographer. I know a few that are doing the side hustle jobs and doing blogs and things. I've seen style stuff. And the only thing that sucks sometimes is that, in order to get into that side hustle, sometimes there's a level of money that you have to already have, to make it work. And then you're like, is it worth the investment? I don't know. So how did I choose the older students versus elementary? I actually did practicum in elementary school. Loved it. My philosophy on why I chose high school over elementary was that I wanted something fresh every year, different. And if I taught the older students, I could talk about content in social studies relating to current world events, keep it fresh. Government class, it's easy to discuss impeachment when there's impeachment happening on TV. It was new, it was fresh, it was enlightening. Elementary school, to me, I just literally, it was so formulaic, it seemed. And I don't mean that in a negative light. Teachers love teaching reading year after year to new faces. I don't like that. And in terms of my own personal stimulation, I knew I would get bored with the content. And I know that you try to find new ways to teach it every year, try to find new methods, this and that. But it wasn't the new methods. It was the actual content itself. I wanted it to challenge me too. I wanted to keep on learning in terms of what I was talking about. And so with U.S. history, and all this stuff, I found there was so much more that I didn't know out there. So when we're talking about Gettysburg, I'm like, oh, and this happened and that happened. And I didn't know this happened and this happened. And we're discovering it together. And I always liked that. I always thought it was pretty cool to grow with the students. So yeah. And yeah. How did my administration react to comedy? Positive and negative. It didn't. It was one of those things that they liked, and then they were like, "Oh, you're criticizing us," and I was like, "Yeah, a little. If you don't want to be criticized, though, don't treat us poorly. How about that? How about how these school districts, instead of silencing teachers on social media, don't give them negative things to talk about. Treat them better." I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. Do better things for the teachers, and then you don't have to worry about what they say, because they're not going to say negative things. They're happy with their career. The school districts that silence their teachers are the ones that are usually the ones abusing their teachers more. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they are supposed to be the top instructional leaders. True. So I never understood, sometimes also these schools, you have admin that isn't ever in the classroom. I never understood how a person can be promoted to assistant principal and principal based solely on having a degree that was advanced. It's a hands-on thing. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I got a teaching degree. That didn't mean anything when it came to the classroom. I was actually a social studies education major. And I feel like I was on the same level as the German studies major when it came to what to experience in the classroom. But once you have classroom experience, I think that admins, if you're good and you can understand the teachers, know what they're going through. But to have administration doesn't know what we're doing, that's. And then they come in and evaluate you. Show me your evaluations when you were a teacher. I'd love to see what you did. Oh man. 5 years of teaching prior to moving to admin. That's a good idea, Jennifer. Hopefully that, more think of that. M-Step. I don't know what M-Step is. Maybe that's a thing outside of Florida. I don't think I've ever heard of M-Step. I'd love to know what that is. If you can clarify. Let's see here. We had that. Yeah, people no clue about running certain programs, and then they just throw them in there. It doesn't make any sense to me. There was people that, and I'm not going to call out individuals, but people that I worked with that had no business getting promoted to the positions that they were promoted in. They were promoted there because they were a butt kisser. They were promoted there because they also sometimes failed at what they were doing. I never understood how you can fire a principal and then move them to the district office, give them a better job overseeing the same positions that they failed at. What? I mean, that's like saying, hey, McDonald's, you're failing at the drive-thru. You're not working it right, So anyways, we're going to make you assistant manager. What? What? Oh, Jack, why should you listen to the podcast? It's full of enlightening discussion. It's full of, I try to provide hilarity. It is, I try to keep it teacher centered. We get off topic every now and then, but it's a breath of fresh air, kind of taking it away from the seriousness of teaching. Hopefully, I try for that anyways. And I'm striving more to keep it on track because it's kind of gone weird lately. And I want to get it focused. I want to get it back to where it was. It was a tough year for teachers. Never understood punishment promotions. We talked about this on the podcast. And those of you that don't listen, this is an interesting topic. So New York City has these promotions for teachers into jobs that they absolutely do nothing. Like there's literally teachers that get in trouble and they can't keep them in the classroom, but they can't fire them. So they put them into these positions where they're just doing desk work, but there's no desk work for them. There was a story of a guy who literally just comes in for like the last 10 years. He's just came in and sat at a desk and is making like $100,000 a year because they couldn't fire him. And apparently he was not doing his job correctly in the classroom. And I forget what they called them. They were like holding jobs or something like that. But that kind of stuff, that's got to stop. It's an interesting thing. Now, I got one topic that I want to talk with you guys real quick. I got one topic that I want to bring up. And let me make sure that I'm covering this correctly because I actually wrote it down because I knew I wanted to talk to you about it. So I kind of wonder... So I get messages from teachers, but I also get some comments that kind of concern me. So I have a weird philosophy. Right now, as you know, there's a lot of an employment shortage where, people are complaining, my Wendy's order is not ready on time. This service was slow. This restaurant had to shut down early, and everywhere is hiring. And, one side, you got people blaming it on the unemployment benefits. And the other side, you got people that are telling you that, employers need to do better. And to me, that's kind of a rough way to describe it because, I would go online. And so here's the thing. Here's what I'm getting at. I go online and people are like, employers need to do better. Why would you want to work for $12 an hour in a crappy drive-through job? Why would you want to do this with no benefits? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to? And there are people doing that. And we're literally like degrading the crap out of their profession. And they're reading the comments of people going, who could ever work the drive-through? And the drive-through needs to be a revered job because it's a hard job. That's not easy. People think McDonald's is easy. It's not. These need to be celebrated positions. And instead, we kind of talk down to them. And it's one thing to say employers should do better, but it's another thing to go, why would you want to work it? Because then when these students get older and they need a job and that job is available, they view it in a negative light. They view themselves in a negative way. I'm just a McDonald's employee. I don't feel good about myself, this and that. Look at how negative, we have just an entire conversation about, would you like fries with that? You're just serving us fries, you're just gonna be a burger flipper. There's nothing wrong with being burger flippers. We need to kind of get out of that. But this is the thing I'm getting at. And this is a little side note here. is I was thinking about that. And then I was like, am I doing that with teaching? Like, cause I put out these videos where I just kind of, make fun of certain scenarios and the hard things we're going through. But a lot of teachers go, it's getting me through teaching. I'm enjoying laughing about it. But then sometimes I get comments like, this is exactly why I left. This is exactly why I never want to go back to teach. This is exactly why. And and I kind of am like, am I inspiring an entire generation of teachers to quit? Because that's not what I want to do. I don't think teaching is a bad job. I think it's a fantastic job. I think that it's a noble job that is not only needed, but needs to be appreciated. It needs to be rekindled. It needs to be revamped to where we are honoring the teachers and respecting the teachers and giving it the qualifications and credentials it deserves. And I wonder sometimes if my comedy sometimes hurts that a little bit. And I'm like, I don't know. And that's the thing is I don't know that if it is or not, but most of the time I get positive comments that teachers like to continue to teach. Yeah, that I'm inspiring people or helping them realize that, because sometimes, we encounter stressful things and it helps to think about it in a different light. It's kind of like the stage fright persona where they, you've heard the age old adage, just envision the audience without their clothes on. It's a hard experience to get through. Here's a funnier way to look at it to help you get through it. That's my goal. So I've always wondered if that goal's coming across or not, or if I'm failing miserably and actually hurting the profession, because I don't want to hurt it. That's not my intention. So I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes these workers, when McDonald's should not be the end all. It should be a stepping stone. And I think that we should pay more because there are a lot more demands in life. These companies can afford to pay more. It's gotten to a point where it really is just greed, but also it should be inspiration to keep going. I was talking to my girlfriend today and she was mentioning, we were talking about how she used to be pretty high up in a particular retail association. And we were talking about when she got out of college, how excited she was to get paid a certain level, and then 10 years later, she's making exponentially more and doing better. And that's the thing is if you told somebody or offered that position at that job at that pay level now, a lot of people go, oh, I can't live off that. I don't want that. But they don't see the benefits. You can't see past the future. We do kind of have a generation of instant gratification. And I don't know, I worry sometimes that's in the job workplace too. People don't look at a year promotion from now. They look at entry level and not beyond that. And people should look at, dedicated, more longer term things. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting off track, but I do think that there are stepping stones. I mean, I started off working at Hooters. I was a cook at Hooters. I worked for $5.25 at an ice cream place. I worked at Chili's. I worked at Blockbuster Video. And every time I tried to get something a little bit better, went from $5.25 ice cream place to $7.25 working at Hooters to then $8.10 working at Chili's, and then I made $12 an hour at Carrabba's, and then I was assistant manager at Blockbuster, and then local department manager at Target. And it was one of those things where each time I just was like, okay, here's, I'm trying to work my way up, but I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad, Angel. Thank you. Voicing similar stress than you. Okay, good. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was trying to go for, is that I'm trying to voice similar stress, trying to go, hey, we all go through it. It's we're all here. So yeah, sometimes they are committed to the low wage jobs. You're right, Cole. And I kind of almost fell into that too. Because let me tell you right now, 17-year-old kid working at Hooters, making $10 an hour because I got moved up a little bit. I said, this is the dream. I'm going to be a Hooters manager. I'm going to own my own Hooters. I'm going to move my way up in the company. And they were cheering me on. And then, luckily I had my parents to kind of ground me and go, hey, yeah, go to college first and then figure it out. And I did. I got a higher education and, and now look at me. Look at me. I'm online begging for stars from complete strangers on Facebook. How my life has just skyrocketed. It's amazing. Oh man, I think of where I was and where I am today in a 1912 department store in the middle of the night, talking to people on Facebook and YouTube. What I mean, the dream. It really is. It's I love it. So I'm glad that, yeah. Oh, that's good. One good thing about COVID, they say, is it made all the teachers at school closer. You're now able to commiserate. Yeah, I do kind of think it united us. There was a kind of a unification going, oh yeah. And this is the funny thing too. I don't think teachers realized how universal teaching is across the world. I mean, I toured Australia with Mr. D, and when we were there, one of the first things we thought of when we got to the countries, our jokes wouldn't work. The teaching wasn't the same. And let me tell you, other side of the world, different hemisphere, yeah, exactly the same. I get emails from Turkey and Peru and Vietnam saying, "Oh man, that's so funny. It's same thing here. Same thing here." So, it's kind of put us on the level playing field of going, wow, it's all over. It's all over. Thanks for the stars, Chris. I can't spin those, but that's okay. Thanks for the stars. Thanks, Gretchen. About half a grade for good. Oh, interesting. That's good. Broadcast gaming. Oh, sorry that they forgot about you. I do hope the kids get back to, socializing though, because that's the one thing hopefully they can take away. Yeah. I just, what I miss is that, during COVID, they're on their computer screens and they're not talking to each other. I miss when they were in my class on their computer screens, not talking to each other. That was where they were really bonding with each other. Anyways. So, all right. You guys have been fantastic. Oh, devoncomedy.com. Don't forget, you can grab some teacher merch. Grab a teacher t-shirt. You don't have to send me stars. Buy something. Buy a little t-shirt for yourself. It's into Teacher Appreciation Week, but I can still appreciate you. And we'll get those out ASAP. And I got some Reply All t-shirts, some pins, and I just got in more shot glasses. I support teachers and their drinking habit shot glasses. So if you want one of those, if you got kids, buy a few, give it to them to give to their teachers. Great gift. But anyways, I want to say thank you. I'm going to record an episode of Crying in My Car, and then I'm going to head home and get some rest. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I will see you back here for some more live, some more comedy, some more humor. 2 new videos this week. Also having tomorrow, the new Teacher Zoom show link will drop. So you can come watch some great comedy, have a lot of fun. And don't forget to reach out if you want to do the Teacher Zoom show for your own classroom or your own faculty. It'd be great. So yeah, thank you all and appreciate you commenting over on YouTube. Sorry, Facebook froze. Hopefully it'll re-upload a better video, but who knows? Anyways, thanks again. And I will see you all later.